too outnumbered. So according to a new study, Gen Z is plagued by lingering fears that AI will take over the business world. And now they're looking to move from white-collar careers to blue-collar careers for job security. According to the study, 42% of the younger generation are working on securing a skilled trade job, like plumbing, welding, or electrical work. The chief career officer of Resume Builder says Gen Z is ditching white-collar careers for good reason, saying, quote, trade jobs offer hands-on work that is difficult to automate. Additionally, many grads find their degrees don't lead to careers in their field, prompting them to explore more practical, in-demand alternatives. Kaylee, I'm going to start with you as a resident Gen Zer. In your opinion, why do you think Gen Z is turning to trade jobs?
I think it's been an actually pretty recent shift, because I think I went to college myself. My husband also went to college and graduate school, but he actually did pursue a career in construction afterwards. So he is not usually using those degrees, but ironically, he finds his work now way more fulfilling than if he would have pursued a white-collar job. And I think the recent shift is because a lot of Gen Zers realized that, the narrative that we had been sold as children, that there's only one path for you, which is that you go to college, you get a degree, and you go into a white-collar field. It's just not realistic anymore. Number one, a lot of these young adults are having a very difficult time actually finding jobs in the white-collar workforce. And also, the purpose of education has changed so dramatically over the past several years that even if you believe that college is a good in and of itself, that it's a good thing to be able to go and study something that gives you meaning and purpose, most colleges don't offer that anymore. They're far more interested in indoctrinating students than they are actually in teaching them how to think for themselves. So there's really no deeper meaning to it anymore either. So young adults are looking elsewhere.
So real quick, just to kind of, speak on what she just said. After hearing all that, right? After hearing what she just said, after hearing that information, this makes me very much believe that we are going to see a lot of colleges shut down permanently. Oh yeah. Listen, if 42% are already trying or have joined a skill trade or going to a trade school, to find work, 42% is a lot. So like I said, just hearing all this information already, I think we will start seeing a lot of colleges completely shut down permanently. Maybe not all of them, obviously. Maybe not like the big ones like Yale or, UCLA, Harvard, Princeton. Maybe not those institutions, but, just you're hearing there are colleges that we never heard of. Yeah, I just can't see that being a business anymore with all this. With these type of discussion of college isn't really what it used to be. I mean, they're losing they're just losing, how should I put it? People are just losing interest, so interesting information.
And Charlie, it seems to be part of a broader societal shift.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is, and what do you make of that shift?
Well, I think a lot of people are sort of realizing the limitations of things like the stupid iPhone and the AI stuff that everybody's predicting is going to take over all of our jobs. And starting to realize that, okay, these things are tremendously advantageous and they can help us with a lot of things, but you are always going to have electricians. You're always going to have plumbers. You're always going to have to, right, as we just saw with that speech that President Trump gave at Arlington Cemetery, you're always going to have fighters. You're going to have humans doing things and doing great things. Now, the AI can help them with that. The phone can help them with that. And you can do more with less and maybe more cheaply, but you're still going to need humans to do these things.
Right.
And it's a great job. You can, if you decide to become a plumber, if you're 20 years old right now, you want to become a plumber, you want to become an electrician, you're going to make a boatload of money, right, and make it very quick. And unlike if you go to college and you get out and you spend all this time making $30,000 a year, you're starting out at like $60,000, $70,000 a year, and there's no limit to what you can make.
Also,
listen, these discussions are a huge threat to college. I'm telling you. How many views this has already? Okay, we're not talking millions, but the point is, I've seen videos, on this talking point of college not just people losing interest, basically. But I totally agree. We need people. We need people. Like, I can't see automation replacing police officers anytime soon, right? I can't see robots or AI replacing construction workers. We need construction workers. Like we need these people. Like we need actual physical labor to perform these job duties. And like he said, you can make a lot of money working these jobs compared to white collar jobs. I mean, I'm not trying to sit here and shame the idea of working a white collar job. I think they're great as well, but it's not the only option. Basically, I guess that's what I'm trying to really paint here. There's other options, and these other options are also lucrative as well. You can make some really good money doing these other jobs, these other fields. So, like I said, it's just confirming that college is not. It's just not the thing anymore, man. We will see them shut down. I can't see them staying in business any longer if they're not getting that many enrollments. Interesting times.
So can I just say, you called text messages a texter one day too? Charlie was telling me his texter was down, and I was like, "What is that?" He said it was his cell phone. It's the messages.
Because, I mean, does anybody use it as a phone anymore?
Yeah,
Yeah.
text and call.
No, it's the texter.
But that made me laugh. I was like, "What is a texter? What's happening?"
Major boomer vibes. Sorry, Charlie.
Right here.
I was just thinking that, actually.
Dr. Sapphire, how has AI changed your field?
Well, before I get into that, I do want to comment on the fact that there's no better time to go into trade than right now. Did anybody else see what President Trump posted about trade earlier today? I'm considering taking $3 billion of grant money away from the anti-Semitic Harvard and giving it to trade schools all across our land. I mean, great time. The thing about trade is it also gives people the ability to have small businesses to reach their entrepreneurship goals. And as Charlie's saying, you will always need these trades, and you can make your own money. You can set your own hours, and this can be what's right for you and your family.
Let's not forget the landscapers. I mean, I live here in South Florida, okay? I live here in South Florida, and I can tell you right now, it is a year-round business. We don't have blizzards and snow down here. I live basically in Miami, right? It's a year-round business. If you start your own landscaping company, you are going. I'm not saying you're going to be rich, but like she just mentioned, you can make a lot of money. You can set your own hours and really your own boss. So it's just a real thing. God, this is interesting time right now, man. All I'm saying is there's options. There's options. I don't want to sit here and say white collar jobs are trash. I don't think so. I just think, well, I know there's other options out there besides doing the traditional way, college, degree, and find some job. Hopefully pay off your student loan debts. I mean, people are not trying to deal with that anymore, and I don't blame them. So, Jesus Christ.
For me, I do use my advanced degrees in my day job, radiologist, but people keep saying to me, your job's going to be gone because of AI. And the reality is that's not true. You don't actually understand the benefits of AI. AI plus human together is going to be an incredibly powerful thing, especially when it comes to healthcare and a lot of other jobs. But AI is definitely enhancing us, but it is certainly not going to take over us. So
I disagree. So I don't think it's going to replace everybody, but it's already replacing jobs. So when people say AI, it's not necessarily artificial intelligence. It's automation. That's really what it is. Also, AI is like an umbrella to me, right? It really is. And there's different things within the AI. So automation is something that makes any sense. Automation is something that's a real thing that's happening today. Prime example: if you live here in South Florida or in the southern states, there's a supermarket called Publix. Publix basically has replaced most of their cashiers with self-checkout. That's automation. That's a machine that has replaced a job of cashiers. They don't really need that many cashiers anymore. They just need someone to monitor the machines, make sure they're functioning, and that's about it. But there's at least like 8 machines that are now being used as self-checkout. The same thing at Walmart, the same thing at McDonald's, Taco Bell. They have self-checkout, not self-checkout, but a kiosk to place your order, checkout. This is a real thing. So I don't believe what she's saying. It's true and false. AI automation has already replaced people, and it's going to keep replacing those repetitive jobs. Not to mention me going to a clinic to get my blood test. No more front desk person. No one there for me to sign in and they call you. No, it's a kiosk. They have to sign in. First, I made the appointment via the computer. I went to the clinic. I had to sign in with a machine. with a kiosk. It wasn't with the person, a machine. So that machine has replaced that job for a front desk person, a receptionist. So what she's saying is true and false. People are already being replaced by machines, literally. So
While people are kind of afraid of AI and they're going into different things, I say it can only make us better as long as that we put into place some of the regulations, because unfortunately we're a little behind the game when it comes to some of the regulations on AI, but that's something that the Trump administration is working on.
Leslie, what do you think? Do you think AI will only make us better, or how do you think it'll reshape the economy?
I have 2 teenagers. AI terrifies me. I'm a year and a half from being an empty nester. They're looking at applying to colleges. You know, it's interesting because there are more people going into trade, but there are more people applying to colleges than ever before in our lifetime. So they're going to college, and I think what happens is, 1, we don't have economic security. 2, we have tariffs. 3, we have companies not hiring as many people in the white collar field. So they look to the trade, and it's so lovely to hear all of you be so pro, trade and blue collar work, because those are strong union jobs in America. And I, as a Democrat, really support that, and I support the unions.
President Trump.
So when we look at no, I wouldn't say he supports the unions. When we look at what is happening in our country, to answer your question with AI,
Well, then
there are
why
things that terrify me. For example, like a War of the Worlds scenario, but on the phone. All of a sudden, you have a computer-generated robot telling you something that isn't true. That can be frightening. But I do agree with Nicole. It's not going to replace doctors.
Then why did he do so well with working voters?
I'm a Democrat who's not going to sit here and go over and over. I said it was the messaging of the Republican Party did a great job at a few things. 1, unity. Charlie's smiling. He loves hearing this part. 1, the unity. 2, they really focused on issues that mattered to the American people, and that was the economy, immigration, and crime. And my party didn't do that. And that's why you have to remember, not all union workers are Democrats, nor are they all Republicans. As a matter of fact, in many unions, they were very evenly split as to who voted for Trump versus Kamala, or sometimes one, had more, for Kamala, and the other, had more for the president.
Right.
There's this idea that, all unions are just Democrats and, running them
Well,
and
the
working
teachers'
for them, and
unions
that's just not
certainly
true.
seemed to be during COVID. I mean, they were detrimental to the children, the influence that the teachers' unions had when it came to writing CDC policy for our kids.
Well, of course,
I don't
the
think we're
leadership
talking
of
about
unions-
teachers when we're talking about unions.
Charlie,
So we're
let's-
talking about like Teamsters and
Yeah.
United Steelworkers and auto
we
workers.
saw,
Well, it's always the
Yeah, Charlie,
powerful
close us out.
leadership of the unions that are Democrats. It's the actual workers who are the members of the unions who got stolen by Donald Trump because of his policies. And it wasn't just messaging. They're smart enough to recognize the difference between BS and messaging. They just realized that he was talking about the issues that they cared about.
The good news is you guys can continue this conversation during the commercial break.
Oh, yeah.
But we've got to go.
what I'll do is leave the link to this video down below if you have any interest in watching it yourself. But listen, back to my point. I think we are going to see a lot of businesses go out of business. Colleges, basically. It's here, man. There's no future. It's here. People are not. A lot of people have no interest in going to college, and I don't blame them. I'm not here to slam on college. I just know that there's other options out there besides the traditional way of finding a job, which is getting a degree in some educational institution like many colleges. There's other options. That's really the whole point of this video. There's other options, and people are seeking other options, and I don't blame them. I do not blame anyone not wanting to be a student and having debt of $50,000 plus or more, or less. I don't blame you. I think it's a terrible thing to consider, taking out a loan, and it's like a gamble. There's no guarantee. So there's no guarantee in life, but it's a really bad play if you're just gonna take out that much money and hope to pay back. I would not tell anyone to do such a thing. That sounds like trouble. But there's so much great points here, man. Again, I do believe I can't see automation replacing blue collar type jobs such as construction workers, police officers, plumbing, electrician. I can't see it happening. I can't. And we need someone to physically perform those jobs. Even jobs like software engineering or developing, we still need human beings to work those roles as well. Sad part is that not many jobs need, that many people on the floor coding or debugging or whatever you're doing. So that's just a real thing. They don't need that many people anymore. We have automation now. We need less workers when it comes to that. But it all just depends. It all depends. But the point is, college is now seeing some serious competition here with trade schools. And yeah, man, I do believe we will see a lot of colleges go out of business. That's my whole thing. But I guess the question to you is, do you think college is worth it? Are you considered going? Have you gone? Do you think it's a good idea or a bad idea to send your kids to college? Do you think people should continue going to college? I think yes and no. It just all depends on what you got going on. But again, there's other options out there besides college. Anywho, I'll leave all my socials down below. If you wish to learn more about me or this channel, I'll leave all my information down below. Down there, you can check out my website. Join our email list newsletter. My name is Ario De Juice. Thank you so very much for watching. This is juicytech.com. Hope to see you on the website and the newsletter. Thanks for watching once again. Peace out.